Bentley, it's time to get to work.
Hi, I'm Larry from Way Out One. This video is about the flood I had in August of 2020. I have been reselling on eBay for 20 years. I've been reselling for 30 years. And I've been buying consistently since that point in time with the plan to sell some items after I retired. So I had a large inventory of items at the point in time when my house flooded. So this video will talk about that. It'll talk about FEMA insurance, flood insurance, and what happened to me. If you like what you see, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, let me know what you like or dislike, what are the things you'd like to see. I will be doing a series of videos on how I'm setting up my basement for being an eBay business. There'll be in multiple of episodes, the first one being on my camera station. I was woken at 2:30 in the morning. My son told me that my basement was flooded. And the first thing I saw was this water sitting at the end of my steps. I ran downstairs and started packing up some collectibles that I had in 2 display cases to try and get those out of the basement before more water got in. There was 40 inches of water on my sliding glass door, and it looked like at any point it could break. It was bowed and just ready to go. The water started to recede, and I went up and went to bed about 5 in the morning. The next day I went down and checked the basement. There had been water, 6 inches of water in my basement, and had damaged well over $30,000 worth of stuff. I spent the next week emptying out my basement, putting the stuff that wasn't damaged in a pod, and everything that was damaged got put in a 20-yard dumpster for disposal. The good news out of this, or if you want to call it good news, is I only got 6 inches of water. The 6 houses to the left of me all got 5 feet of water. All of their sliding glass doors broke. If I would have got 5 feet of water in my basement, probably would have doubled to $60,000 more possible for what would have happened. I did lose 2/3 of my record collection. And you can see the water here in the door that was still there weeks later. But there was 40 inches on that door at one point in time. So what I really want to talk about is flood insurance. So I had to pay for flood insurance because I live in a floodplain. I have a few $100,000 worth of regular insurance on my house contents, and I had $60,000 worth of flood insurance. Flood insurance does not cover your basement. Yeah, let me repeat that. It does not cover the contents of your basement. It covers your hot water heater, it covers your heater and furnace, and one other thing, water softener maybe? Otherwise, everything else in your basement is not covered with your flood insurance if it's a basement. Now, if they determine it's not a basement, which basically means that your basement door walks out straight onto your yard and there's no place where your yard is higher than your door, then potentially your basement is a room that you can use for insurance purposes, for flood insurance purposes. If you have, if they do say that, your collectibles, even then, are only covered for $2,500. Not per item, $2,500 total. Collectibles are not covered anywhere close to what the real value are. So if you live in a floodplain and you have flood insurance, you need to either A, make your basement area so that it doesn't flood, or you need to remove all your collectibles and move it to the main floor of your house because you are not covered. After my basement was emptied, they cut all the drywall off 4 feet up all the way around in my basement. And then they cleaned it. And then about a month later, I was able to move some things back into the basement. Then in December, I had the basement drywalled. And the beginning of January, it got painted. And then the beginning of February, I got the floor painted. So I started moving stuff back into the basement. And I'm going to show in my next video the lighting station and what that looks like. I'm going to try and do a series of how I've set up the basement going forward. So I always try to leave a video down below. There's 2 this week. One is after the flood, and the other one is a Todd Snider song about records. Check them out down below. Hope you enjoy both of them. The one thing I hope you get out of this, if you do live in a floodplain and you have a lot of collectibles in your basement, either see what you can do to prevent water getting into your basement, rerouting, putting more dirt outside, sump pumps, closing off any possible leakage for things to get into your house. But the insurance is just not there. You can look at some other alternative insurance things, but I've not found anything yet that seems to work for a heavy collector or an eBay reseller. The other thing I wanted to say, last thing, is that after the flood, people kept coming up to me and they were asking me about how the pig was doing after the flood. And not a single person asked how I was doing. It was just one of those things that annoyed me. But the pig was doing great. He was on high grounds and never had any issues at all. Thanks.
Who's a spoiled pig? You like the nachos, don't you? Oh yeah. Good stuff.